Hello and welcome to another video. As usual, my name is Jeffrey and you're welcome to Inquisitive Universe. So honestly, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this one. My last few videos have been like quite long, 10 minutes plus or so. I want to see how much I can keep this down. I want to try as much as possible. I want to try. Now I did a video recently talking about the Oppo Reno 8 and the scam that is being perpetuated, where like most of the adverts and most of the YouTube reviews you see carry the Dimensity 1300 only for you to go to stores and then you'd find out that you are buying the Snapdragon 680. Now of course, being the one to point out the problem, I think I am here to provide or prefer a solution, especially to those who do not really know how these things work. That's why I build my channel to cater to these things. It's what I do. Honestly, anybody who knows me will tell you very much so that this is how Jeffrey operates. And I have put this out on social media. I guess I have, and I've seen people who've come out to say, okay, yes, you've seen the problem. What then are people supposed to do now? What is the solution? So yeah, I'm going to come with a two-pronged approach. That's why I'm mostly titling this video for SEO purposes. The best Snapdragon 680 phones that you can get in Nigeria at the moment. So I've come up with a list of 10 phones that you can get instead of the Oppo Reno 8 using the same Snapdragon 680 processor. So let's just get into the video right away. Now, first off, before I even start, I want to talk about Snapdragon 680 first. Now, Snapdragon 680 is a lower mid-range processor. That was what even got me all worked up when I found out that they were selling it for that amount, 278,000. That's around, if you follow official sources, around well over 500 USD, 574 USD or so. And so it kind of pissed me off because there is no explanation in heaven or in hell that would make a Snapdragon 680 cost that much, because it is a lower mid-range processor. I have a list of top 100 smartphone processors which I regularly update, and Snapdragon 680 is nowhere near the performance of its cousin, the Dimensity, that's the Reno 8 5G with the Dimensity 1300. So I think that's very important, that what most people should know. If you are getting a phone with Snapdragon 680, do not expect top-of-the-line performance. It is a lower mid-ranger. It will play football well. It will carry out most tasks well. It will record decent video, depending on the take good pictures, depending on the cameras that are paired with it. But that's just it. It's just there, lower mid-range. It does what it can. But if you were to go higher to talk about games like Fortnite, it will struggle Genshin Impact. But we talk about Fortnite, talk about Grid Auto Sports, you'll see that 680 is nowhere near. It's absolutely nowhere near. And this is an SoC I have tested with the Redmi 10C as well as the Redmi Note 11. And I'm going to get to all that. But let me not let the cat out of the bag. Top 10 phones you would find in Nigeria that are cheaper than the Oppo Reno 8 4G. So the first thing we're obviously going to start with yes, one of Oppo's phones. That is the Oppo Reno 7. Now, for those people who do not know, the Oppo Reno 7 and the Oppo Reno 8 are actually the same phone, guys. Let me speak PG. Now, the same phone. See, Oppo Reno 7 and Oppo Reno 8. Now, the same phone, guys. It is the same phone, the same specs. Everything is identical. The only thing that I can say that they've changed is probably the software, probably. But it is the same phone. It is identical. If you do not believe me, you can go and check online. The specs are online. My people suffer because of lack of knowledge. The Oppo Reno 8 costs 264,600. You'd find it on Slots and you'd find it on Pointech. That's where I got this information from. And the fact that they are selling the Oppo Reno 8, which is essentially a clone of the same phone. I mean, come on, guys. They're selling it for almost 20,000 naira more. Seriously. In ninth place, we have got the Huawei Nova 9 SE. The Huawei Nova 9 SE, it's same Snapdragon 680 processor. It's got a 108 megapixel camera, which I believe is overkill, completely overkill. And it's got a 4,000 milliampere battery, 66 watts of charging. That's charge speed, and it costs around 190,000. Now here is a phone with the same processor, better cameras, and faster charging than what you get on the Oppo Reno 8, costing 190,000. That is almost 80,000 naira less. My only gripe with the Huawei Nova 9 SE is that for a phone to cost so much and lacking Google services is just greed for me. That's it for the Huawei Nova 9 SE. Let's move on to another one of Oppo's phones, the Oppo A96. That's the Oppo A96. Is another phone that you would find here. Now, the Oppo A96 sports an LCD as opposed to the AMOLED that you would find on the Reno 7 and the Reno 8. So it's an LCD. It's not going to be as vibrant as the AMOLED display, but personally for me, I don't really give two shits. 50 megapixel camera plus a 2MP depth sensor, and boom, 189,000. So we're still moving on. On the next one you'd find on the list after the Oppo A96 is Nova Y90. The Huawei Nova Y90 is another phone that you would find on this list. So it's same LCD, 1080p, same 50 megapixel camera as you find on the A96 that we've seen just now. And guess what? Despite the fact that it has faster charging with the same 5000 milliampere battery, it costs 170k. 170,000. The next one we're going to be looking at is the Vivo Y35. The Vivo Y35. The Vivo Y35 sports the same. Basically, it sports the same specs as the Nova Y90, yet it costs slightly less, about 1,100 less, at 168,900. You find it on Point Tech. It's available in Nigeria. So after that, let's move down to another one of Oppo's phones again with the same Snapdragon 680 processor. Come on, guys. Oppo A76. This one has a very cheap 13 megapixel camera, and they're selling it at 154k. 154k with the same processor, the same battery, the same charge speed. You find it at Point Tech, Oppo A76, although I think it's mostly gone out of stock for most people because I don't think it's been produced again since Oppo are trying to push newer phones into the market. The next one you're going to see is the Vivo Y22s. Same Snapdragon 680 processor, but this one has a 720p display, so it's not going to be as sharp as those with the 1080p displays, but it costs around 154k, and it has a 50 megapixel camera. Next up, we're going to be seeing the Redmi 10C. The Redmi 10C shares nearly identical specs with the Vivo Y22s, and guess what? It costs almost 60k cheaper. So when you look at like the price to performance ratio, I'm going to see if I can put a list at the end of like this post so that you like see for yourself. But if you're going to talk about price to performance ratio, I think the Redmi 10C is one of those phones that are like way up there. The 464 variant pricing starts at 98,900, and then after that, in second place, you find the Samsung Galaxy A23. Samsung Galaxy A23 with the same, I think it's got the 1080p display, LCDs, 50 megapixel plus 5 megapixel ultra wide and 2 megapixel depth sensor, as well as a 2 megapixel macro, starting at 149,000. Top of the list when it comes to price to performance ratio of all Snapdragon 680 phones that you'd find in Nigeria is the Redmi Note 11. AMOLED display, 6.43-inch AMOLED display, 50 megapixel camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5k mAh battery, 33 watts fast charge, starting at 142,000. Prices are gotten from Point Tech. So these are like the top 10 phones that you can get, Snapdragon 680 phones that you can get in Nigeria right now at this very moment, that will put the Oppo Reno 8 4G to shame, with the same performance, probably even better camera performance, the same CPU SoC performance for games, for performance, for apps, for everything, with the same camera performance or even better, with the same AMOLED display, whatnot, same battery performance and even faster charging speeds. So when I come out here saying that this phone is overpriced, I am not kidding. I know what I am saying. You understand me? So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I want to keep this video as short as possible, so I'm actually rushing through this. Phones that you can get at the same price as the Oppo Reno 8 4G. Phones that you can get at the same price. Better phones now, and the first one on my list here is the Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus 5G that has gotten a Dimensity 920 processor. Dimensity 920. Honestly, like I always say, I have a list of top 100 smartphone processors that you definitely should go and check out, and then see how where Snapdragon 680 is and how high Dimensity, like 1300, 1080, 900, how high they are, like the performance difference between like these two sets of processors. After the Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus 5G, you're going to find the Samsung Galaxy A53. That is another very, very incredible phone. I think the A33 as well, but you'd hardly find those now. As personally, I'd go with the A53 any day. These are like phones that you'd find at the same price point, around that 270, 280, 290. You get. So another phone you'd also want to look at is the Vivo V23 5G, as well as the Vivo V21. These are much better phones at that same price point. Like the performance leap is just out of this world. You get. So as usual, my name is Jeffrey. Thank you for coming to my YouTube video, and I guess I'll be seeing you in the next one. Till next time, I'll always tell you, like I will always say, please guys, put your eyes down, put your eyes out there. This company is not mean well for you guys. Honestly, you have the only friend, the only brand that you can trust is your wallet and yourself. So go out there and do your research before going out to buy phones. So as always, Jeffrey again. I think I already said my name is Jeffrey. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye guys.